So with the even numbers from last night, you're looking here and it has the negative square root of 64 over 225. So you have to ask yourself, what's the square root of 64? Just tell me the answer.
8.
Okay? And then what's the square root of 225?
15. And it's a negative.
So because the square root of 225 is 15, the square root of 64 is 8, you have a negative out here, you have to put the negative in front. And I'm done. That's it. That's all we had to do.
Can we put a check?
You can put a star, you can put a check, you can put an X if you get it wrong, but if you get it wrong, make sure you're making corrections. 28. We have a positive or a negative square root of 1 and 44/100ths. Forget that the decimal is there. What's the square root of 144?
12.
Good. So then I look back at my decimals. I have 1, 2 in the inside the radical sign.
And then you're gonna go
So how many do I need in my
1.
answer?
1.
1. Because 1.2 times 1.2 will eventually have 1, 2 at the end. So 1 and 2/10 is my answer. But don't forget to bring down the plus and the minus, the positive and the negative. We want the cubed root. Now we're talking about the cubed root, and that's where our notes will come in handy. Because what times itself 3 times will give me 512.
8.
So 8 times 8 times 8. But we have a negative on the inside of the cubed root.
So it'd be negative.
So it has to be negative 8. Because negative 8 times negative 8 would be a positive 64. And then a positive times the negative 8 will be a negative 512.
Yep.
So your answer is negative 8.
I'm doing pretty good on these.
You did not have to do 31, but I'm going to go over it, so that means you guys are all going to write in your book the answer. If we have the cubed root of 1,000, I don't even care that it's negative right now. I'm just thinking 1,000. Okay? It ends in zeros. So what does my answer have to end in?
0.
A 0. So really it's 10 times 10 times 10, correct? But it would be a negative 10 because it's negative on the inside. But what I want you to think about is if I would change that 1,000 to 8,000. So I'm going to write underneath of this, and you're going to probably need to write a little small. I want the cubed root of 8,000. Now we're getting into some huge numbers. I'm going to ask myself, what does it end in? Zeros, right? So you're going to pull out that digit. It has to be zeros. So now what times itself will give me to 8? Just a 8. A 2, right? So then that becomes now 20 times 20 times 20.
And that equals 8,000.
I'm going to give you one more example and try to find some space to put it in here if you don't have enough space,
Just write it on.
or write it off to the side. If I say my answer is 27,000, there's 3 zeros, and I said I want the cubed root of that. So my answer is going to end in a 0, right? Then I pull out the 27. What times itself 3 times will give me 27?
9.
Not 9.
No, not 9. Whoa.
3, because 3 times 3 is 9, and then 9 times 3 is 27. So the cubed root of 27,000 is 30. Because 30 times 30 times 30 is 27,000. Just a little trick to help you out.
Okay.
32. The cubed root of a negative 343. You guys should know it. What is it?
Negative
7, which would be a negative 7. How much easier was it by having that cheat sheet to use? It would be a lot, but you're going to have to get some of those memorized. Not so much the cube roots, but anything squared. You need to get those memorized. So going on to 34.
Out.
A lot of you got a little bit confused on this because I think you were overthinking it. So in 33, we're going to take some notes.
Oh, we're doing 33.
So what I want you to write is if I have the number 4, and I want to know what something squared equals. So what number squared gives me the answer of 4?
2.
What number squared?
2.
2. Because 2 squared equals 4. Because 2 times 2 is 4. Okay?
Okay.
So I also want you to write the square root of 4 is 2. So basically, and 2 squared is 4, what they're asking is you to find, if what is something squared, you're finding the square root of 4. Yeah. So here, if we want something squared equals 9/64, we are finding the square root of that. So what's the square root of 9?
3.
What's the square root of 64?
8.
So C equals 3/8. Please put the square root sign over that fraction.
If, like, say we just put 3/8, is that still right?
Yes.
I put 3/4. I just put the.
No, because 4 times 4 is only 16.
I got the answer.
36. Be careful because 4 was something squared. 36 is something cubed. So I want you to write in your pen, you are finding the cubed root of 1/8. Well, the cubed root of 1 is always going to be 1. So what times itself 3 times gives me 8? 2. 2 times 2 times 2. So Z is 1/2. Because 1/2 cubed gives me 1/8.
So I got 1. I got just 1/2. So I'm good.
38. I gave you an example on this one already.
Yeah.
You pull out
Answer's
the
20.
digit. I know I have 3 zeros. So my answer has to end in a 0. So then what times itself 3 times gives me 8? 2. So M is
20.
just 20. Don't say it's 20 cubed because it has a cube there. We just wanted to know the base number that you got to put in. 40 confused a lot of you because I think you were overthinking it.
Probably easy. Yeah.
You were trying to find the square root of something. So if you're finding the square root of something equals 20, the reverse or the inverse of a square root is squaring a number. Right? So we have to take 20 squared
Yeah.
to find our answer.
20 squared.
So we need to do 20 times 20. I'm just going to add a 0. Say we used it. 2 times 0 is 0. 2 times 2 is 4. So the square root of 400 is 20.
So the answer's 400.
So let's go back and look at 39.
39.
39. So the square root of something equals 5. So we have to do the opposite. So we have to do 5 times 5, which is,
25.
so the square root of 25 equals 5. So x equals 25. Write that down in 39.
X equals 5, you said? Or 20, no, 25.
39 is x equals
25.
25 because 25 is what goes under the square root. And the square root of 25
40 is
is
4.
5. Let's do 41. Does this one come easy? Is this on my chart?
No.
No, but you can solve it. Because here we just had to do 20 times 20, 5 times 5. So what do we do here? 10.5 times 10.5. I just want you to write down how to do the problem. We are not going to finish doing the problem. $42 was the next problem you had to do. You need to draw a picture for these. Remember I tell you, a lot of times in math, it helps to draw a picture to see what it is that you need to see and how to fill it out and to fill in the numbers. A concert crew needs to set up some chairs on the floor level. The chairs are to be placed in a square pattern consisting of 4 square sections. Okay, so I need to make a square pattern with 4 square sections. So you need to draw a square, and you're drawing it on your paper. And you're making that square into 4 square sections. If you did not do that, you're doing it now. And it says if one of the square sections holds 900 chairs. So then I'm going to write a 900 in each of these squares.
Yep.
How many chairs will there be along each length of the longer square? I need to find the length of one side. Area equals length times width. So I want to find the length of at least one side. So I need to take the square root of 900. This is like what we did before. If it has 2 zeros, I need 1 0 in my answer. So what squared gives me 9? 3. So it would be 30 times 30 to give me 900. So each side is 30. But it wants to know how many chairs will be along the whole larger side here. 30 plus 30 is,
60.
and that's my final answer. $44. The area of each square in the figures below are 81 square units. Select the perimeter of each square, each figure. If this area is 81, I want to find a length of one side. So off to the side, you need to write square root of 81. What does the square root of 81 equal? 9. So each side now is 9. So that's 9. This is 9. This is 9. This is 9. Because the perimeter is adding all the sides up.
Yep.
I don't want to do 9 plus 9 plus 9 plus 9 plus 9 plus. Can I make that multiplication?
Yeah.
So I'm going to count my number of sides. 1, 2, 3, and I'm marking them as I go so I don't forget. Oop, or I don't get lost. I'm just going to start over. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. If each was 9, I take 12 times 9. What's 12 times 9?
108.
108. Is that in my answer bank?
Yes.
Yep. So I know I'm doing it right.
Okay, so I did get it right.
This is 9 here too. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that's 10 times 9, which is
90.
90. Is that in my
Yes.
answer bank?
Yes.
So I know I'm doing it right. Then I count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 times 9 is
108.
108. It's in the answer bank because I've already used it once, but I can use it more than once.
So then the
So
next,
just because you use it, doesn't mean you can't use it again. Do any of the figures have the same perimeter?
yes.
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 The first and the second one, or first and the last one, or first and third, however you wanna put it. The explanation was how we solved it.
Because they
Or
all
you
have
say
same
the
address.
distance around the shape is the same.
I just put yes because.
You went to 46?
Yeah.
25 squared, that means it's 25 times 25, which is what?
625.
What?
625. Yeah.
625. 48 was not on any of your notes. It was not an answer that we've done before. So you actually had to do the work. You had to do 34 times 34. That's not hard for you guys to do in 7th grade.
No.
So 4 times 4 is 16, 12, 13. Cross off what I've used as a 0. 12, 9 plus 1 makes 10. And you would have got 1,156.
I got one.
You need to know how to do it and then do the math because you're going to get problems that go something bigger. Our next problem was
50.
50. Do what the square root first. Okay, so the square root of 36 is 6. Bring down the negative 6 times 6. 6 times 6 is 36. Negative times a positive makes it negative.
It's negative 36?
It's negative 36.
Then how in the world did I get 36 times 6?
You probably didn't take the square root of 36 first.
No.
Let's go to 52. The square root of 144. Do that first. What's the square root of 144? 12. So then you have a negative 4 times 4. Negative 4 times 12. 4 times 12 is
48.
48. A negative times a positive makes it a negative.
Oh, I know why I did that.
Okay, those were the only ones that you were supposed to do because I said we didn't have to do 54. When we're going to do, and I'm going to hand you guys a worksheet here in just a second. I want to go over it so you know what to do. So just keep your eyes on the board, please. Can you hand out the worksheet while I? Okay, what you're going